Very well. Let us chant the last 10 verses of chapter 10. Aksharaणामकारosmi bandhas samasikasya cha ahamevakshaya kalaha dhataham vishvato mukha mrityos sarvaharashchaham udbhavascha bhavisyatam Kirti Shrirvakchanarinam Smritirmedha Dhriti Kshama Brihad Sama Tatha Samam Gayatri Chandasamaham Masanam Margashirshoham Ridhunam Kusumakaraha Fyutam Chalayatamasmi Tejasvinamaham Jayosmi Vyavasayosmi Sattvam Sattvapadamaham Vrishninam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninamapyaham Vyasaha Kavinam Kavihi Dando Damayatamasmi Nitirasmi Jigishatam Maunam Chaivasmi Gupyanam Jnanam Jnanapatamaham Yachapi Sarvabhutanam Bijam Tadahamarjuna Na tadhasti vina yatsyan maya bhutam characharam nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa yesha dudeshatha proktaha vibhute vistaro maya Yadhyad vibhutimatsatvam Srimadujitamevaha Tattadeva Vagachatvam Mama Tejomsha Sambhavam Athava Bahunaitena Kim Jnatena Tavarjuna Vishtabhyahamidam kritsnam Ekakshe nastito jagat.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavit Vishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. हाँ चलो clarification. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 38. Opposite of hope is contentment, and contentment is the qualification to see the divine. What is contentment? How contentment happens in the present? How to recognize abundance? So, verse number 38, in that context, a statement. Opposite of hope is contentment, and contentment is the qualification to see the divine. What is contentment? How contentment happens in the present, and how to recognize abundance. Contentment Contentment is an understanding that what is required for my growth is already provided. What is there, what all external supports that is required for my growth is already provided. I only have to make faithful use of it is called contentment. Again, I repeat, the definition of contentment is people generally misunderstand contentment. Contentment na edo sila objects, sila beings, sila quantity la vandirthuna, it is contentment. Contentment has got nothing to do with the quantity or the people around. Contentment is not dependent on any of that. Contentment is an understanding. What is understanding? Whatever is required for your growth is provided already. You need not look for anything new or extra. All that you have to do is make faithful use of what you have. So recognizing what you are having is called contentment. Are you able to follow? Otherwise, we always believe that in the present environment, in the current environment, in the current scenario and all, certain things cannot be done unless an ideal environment comes, unless an ideal situation. So we are always looking for something different from what I have in the present. So contentment is recognizing what you have in the present is enough for your growth. If you make faithful use of it, if something extra is needed, the divine will provide it. Again, if you make faithful use of it, and if anything extra is required, the divine will take care of it. The divine will provide it. Therefore, contentment is the qualification to see the divine basic. This is how you see the divine, through contentment. Are you able to follow? What is required will come. If something is required for my growth, it will come. When I say something is required for my growth, assumption is I am sincere and dedicated in the present. I am sincere and dedicated seeker today, and whatever is required will come by the law. This is called contentment. Therefore, there is no need to worry about. Having something extra or something different for growth to happen. Are you able to follow? Generally, people misunderstand discontentment means not having a few things. Contentment means having those things. It has got nothing to do with what you have or what you don't have. It is to do with your understanding. And what is the understanding? The understanding should be always of this. The understanding should be always of this. What is understanding that should be always? What is provided me for today is what I have to make faithful use of. So I am so contented with what I have. So what I am having today itself is motivating me enough to do the spiritual sadhana. Otherwise, I always say, if that one extra thing is there, I can do my sadhana. If that one extra thing is there, I can do my tapas, I can do my sadhana. I am not able to do because of either something is there that is preventing me, or something is not there, and if I have it, it will accelerate. See, discontentment in a rendu possibility. Something is there preventing, or something else that I don't have, and if I have it, it will accelerate. Are you able to follow? This is discontentment. This is called discontentment. What is contentment? This is the first one. What is the second clarification?
How contentment happens in the present.
Contentment happens always Contentment doesn't happen in the present. Contentment is an understand. Connect to what I said already. How contentment happens in the present? Contentment is the recognition of the providence. Recognizing the benevolence of today is contentment. Again, I repeat. How does it happen in the present? Recognizing the benevolence of today. Today I woke up. First benevolence. Yeah. Second benevolence. I woke up. First benevolence. Second benevolence. Faculties are still functioning. Second benevolence. Third benevolence. Yeah. Energies are still there for me to think about the divine. That's what in the Bhakti tradition the great saint says, thank God I'm able to speak now. I will speak about divine as much as possible. Thank God I'm able to hear today that I will hear about the divine as much as possible. Because God only knows tomorrow I will not be able to speak. Appo regret panni is of no use. Tomorrow I may not be able to hear. At that point of time, regretting is of no use. Therefore, I am so grateful that all are effectively functioning today. Thank God my legs are walking. I'll visit the places of worship as much as possible. Thank God my hands are working. I'll do the archana, the seva as much as possible. This is contentment in the present. Are you able to follow? This is how it works. A great saint wrote this. I'm copying from Ellame copy in the class. All that we say is only copying. Beautiful is that thing. Because God only knows what will happen the next moment. Regretting is of no use. At 80, the person will regret, oh my God, I should have done so many things. No, sir. Now what to do? Wait for some more time. You have to get a fresh body. Instruments and all have to be fresh. Everything has to be fresh. Then only you can do something. Because when the instruments were all given to you, you didn't make use of it, or you used it in a wrong way. Since you have used it in a wrong way, modala anda karma kaliyanum. Because you have used it in the wrong way, first you have to exhaust the karma of the wrong use. And then thank God, God must have the grace to give you another set of instruments again. And then you should be interested enough in doing all these things. How scary it is. How scary it is if you postpone even one day. Therefore, what is contentment? Everything is provided today, and I am grateful for what I have today, and I will spend as much as time on the divine. We will follow how contentment happens in the present. This is how it happens. Recognizing the value of what you have today, the contentment. Contentment is nothing but recognizing the value of what you have. Today, we don't recognize the value of what we have. We are always looking at something, or comparing it with somebody. Oh, this person has, I didn't have, this person didn't have, I am having. By comparison, you can feel inferior. By comparison, you can feel superior. All this shows discontent. All this shows discontent. Are you okay? The third clarification.
How to recognize abundance?
How to recognize abundance. This is recognizing abundance. Yeah. This is recognizing abundance. You are alert, you are awake, faculties are functioning, and this is abundance. This is abundance. All are 100. Recognizing the abundance makes you not ask for anything. Contentment is superior abundance. Abundance means you will not ask for anything. Everything is there already. It is going to come. That's it. Abundance means what? Infinite, Purna. It's there. All that you have to do is what? make faithful. Are you able to follow? So, how to recognize abundance? How to recognize abundance? You got to open your eyes and look at yourself. The internal support, the external support, what all we have. Look at the comfort. We are able to sit and theorize about God. What a comfort it is, where we are not worrying like the guy here. Just 10 minutes back, I was thinking. I went into the balcony to dry the towel. I was seeing the whole lot of people slogging. I thought, oh my God, what a blessing it is to even sit and talk about the divine now. What a wonderful, what a blissful opportunity it is. This is recognizing the abundance. Are you okay? Chapter 10, verse number 41. Yadyad vibhutim matsattvam. Whatever being is glorious, prosperous, or powerful, know that only to be a manifestation of a part of my glory. This is where we left. This is where we left last week, isn't it? Whatever is glory. Now, what is this glory? All existing thing has some glory. Meaning something unique, something wonderful, something beautiful. Earthworm has its own glory. How it can just, with that, how difficult it is to pierce through the earth, and how it is just, it has its own glory. The fish has its own glory. The tree has its own glory. The carnivores has its own glory. The herbivores has its own glory. Human beings has its own glory. Any existing thing has some glory. That glory is what is called as Shri. That glory is what he is calling it as Shri. Shrimat. Whatever is glorious. What are the various types of glories? They give a list also. The list of glories are also given. First is Shri. Shri na, rest of it follows nothing. First is Shri. Shri means beautiful, attractive. Everything is beautiful, everything is attractive. Something is so unique in it, it is attractive. Something is so beautiful in that it is attractive. So first thing is Shri. Second, Kanti. Kanti means Niti, justice. Everything functions by a law. Everything is acting as though they are respecting a law. Not as though everything is respecting a law only. Human beings violate the law. So everything is acting by respecting the law. The lion will not say, I am getting bored today, let me hunt. To kill boredom, lion will not kill. Human being, to avoid boredom, we will eat, isn't it? In the train, they sell. In the local trains, they sell. Time pass, they will sell, isn't it? Time pass, they will not sell a book. What will they sell for time pass? Churumuri, time pass. So we don't violate. So human beings violate the law. Other species respects the law, that is Kanti. The third one is Kirti, fame. The fourth one is Dhana, wealth. Fifth one is Dhanyam, the food. Santana, children. Griha. Grihana house கிடையாது. Grihana, wherever there is happiness, that is called Griha. Domestic happiness. Fight and turmoil இருந்தா அதுக்கு பேர் கிரக கிடையாது. That is called battlefield. Where there is fight and turmoil and argument and all that, that is not called griha. That is not called house. That is called Kurukshetra. Yeah. That is Kurukshetra. And today everywhere there is only Kurukshetra. There is no griha at all. Domestic happiness. Saubhagya, the sense of well-being. Saubhagya means a sense of well-being. Vidya, knowledge. See, all these, the Shastras define all these as Sri. Wherever any one of these is there, understand it as me. That's what he's saying. What is he saying? Wherever you see any of these, what you should remember? You should remember me. You should remember me. That's why the God is called Bhagavan. Bhaga means one who has 6 glories. Whoever has those 6 glories is called Bhagavan. Bhaga means one who has these 6 virtues, 6 glories. What are the 6 glories? Shri, Aishwaryam, Yashas, Vairagya, Jnana, Virya. Viryam, the power of creation, sustenance and destruction. That is Viryam. Jnanam, Anantam Jnanam, infinite knowledge. Vairagya, absolute dispassion about his own creation. He creates and absolutely dispassionate about his own creation. Vairagyam, Yashas, absolute faith. எல்லாமே absolute னு வச்சுக்கணும். Yashas, absolute faith. Aishwaryam, absolute supremacy. Shri, absolute wealth. So Shri, Aishwarya, Yashas, Vairagya, Jnana, Virya, all this is called, wherever there is this, understand it as me. Why this list and all is given? Because he says, wherever you see yasya yatya vibhutim existing, you see what? Wherever prosperity you see, whatever you see as powerful, whatever you see as glorious, know that only to be, understand that only to be me. Not only he's saying understand only that to be me, he's saying it's only a infinitesimal part of me. Why it is an infinitesimal part of me? The analysis of Jagat, the list of Jagat itself is not possible. The list of Jagat is not possible. Since the list of Jagat is not possible, the glory of him is also not possible. That's why. Again, I repeat. Can you ever make a list of all the things in the Jagat? Census edukka mudiyuma? Can you take a census and find out the list of things in the Jagat? How much ever you find out, much more keeps opening up. Therefore, he is right in saying yad vibhutim. Ingallam paakuringlo, adalla is a infinitesimal portion of me. Why? The blade, every blade of grass, the sun, the moon, the stars, everything, what all manifestation you see, that is Jagat. All that is manifest is called Jagat. All that is perceivable is called Jagat. Perceivable, not by the senses alone. Perceivable means through concepts also. Like, for example, the distance between two planets. Did anybody stand there and measure? It's a calculation. So, one way is seeing through the eyes, another way of perception is seeing through the buddhi, another way of seeing through the mind, emotions. All that is perceivable means that which comes under this category. That is Jagat. All that is perceivable by the instruments is called Jagat, and they are immeasurable. Since the Jagat is immeasurable, obviously what it means? Glories of mine is also immeasurable. Adu immeasurable na? How can my glory be immeasurable? Because that is me only. Because that's me only. Whatever you see, that is me. You only know. This is where you got to remember the entire. This is where you got to remember the entire discussion from chapter 7 till this verse. In a flash, you should be able to remember all this. In a flash, you should be able to recollect all these things. How can you remember everything in a flash? I'll try to summarize now. We'll try to summarize. Because he's saying it is infinitesimal. Infinitesimal. First thing is, wherever you see a creation, you understand there is a creator. The created is seen, the creator is inferred. இதெல்லாம் பேசிக்ஸ் 7th சாப்டர்லயே படிச்சிட்டோம். அதெல்லாம் பரப்பிரகிருதி அபரப்பிரகிருதிலாம் எவ்வளவு குழப்பினார் அவர். There we have studied all this in detail. So you see the created, and the creator is inferred. I see the phone, the created, but I am inferring there is a creator. The created is seen, the creator is inferred. Are you okay? The basis. இதெல்லாம் பிரமாணம். இந்த பிரமாணத்துல இருந்தெல்லாம் தான் we build up our stories எல்லாம் இதுல இருந்தா build up பண்ணணும் இல்லையா? ஸ்கிரீன் பிளே இதுல இருந்தா டெவலப் பண்றோம். ஒன்லைனர்ல இருந்தா ஸ்கிரீன் பிளே டெவலப் பண்றாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி இது. We develop our screenplays. And the screenplay that the Shastras develop is much more interesting than. Since it is inferred, it means what? Second, adhula adutha development. First is God is inferred, right? Illa sir, I have seen God na utrungo. Then sometime later we will discuss. Sometime later we will meet again. God is only inferred. God is not seen. Just as you see the created and you infer the creator. Inference means that person is not around. That's why you have to infer. Inference implies what? The creator is not around. Supposing the creator is around, it is pratyaksha. It is no more inference. Are you okay till now? How beautifully comes and connects it with here. Extraordinary connections. Pannirunda, it is extraordinary, isn't it? If you have figured it out, I'll try to connect on this. Therefore, God is always not seen around. The very fact that we have said it is inference means the creator cannot be seen around. The creator is not present. Since the creator is not present, the problem starts. What is the problem? You have to imagine how the creator will be. There is no inference, there is no nothing. Since we are only inferring and not around for you to notice, you only have to imagine. Like for example, everybody sitting here, we all have our great grandfather. How that man would have looked. How that man would have looked. You can only imagine. You can only imagine. Are you able to follow? Even though it is known that he was there, but not seen, therefore you can only imagine. And when you imagine, that imagination has to be some basis to that imagination. What is that basis to that imagination? Since the creation is so absolutely perfect, absolutely beautiful, fantastic, and the human being is given an opportunity to appreciate it, experience it, etc., the creator has to be extraordinarily intelligent. The creator has to be extraordinarily intelligent creator. அதுக்கு தான் இந்த பகாலாம் சொல்றோம். அதுக்கு தான் whenever we say 6 qualities of Lord, Bhagavan, all this comes under that. அதுலேருந்து வர derivations தான் எல்லாம். That's why we have to connect all. So you can only imagine a highly intelligent entity. Are you okay till now? Who is sitting and imagining? A human being. Therefore, God will necessarily be. Therefore, that God that a human being imagines will necessarily be human form. You cannot conceive of whatsoever you conceive, it has to necessarily be in a human form. The moment you have to imagine, this is where all the problem starts. You understand it is intelligent. You understand that entity has to be supremely powerful, supremely intelligent. Also, you cannot conceive of anything beyond human form. The question will start. What is the question will start?
What does God look like?
What does God look like? Or complexion எப்படி சார் இருக்கும்? Complexion எப்படி இருக்கும்? Where else to go to? You go to the scriptures. Where else to go to? You go to the scriptures. And they are the most confusing. They are the most confusing. Why? Because they say he's fair. And then he say Mega Shamala. He's fair. Na white, fair na white. Fair. Fair and lovely madri. Fair. He's fair. Abada. You get an understanding. Seri. நல்ல மைதா மாவு மாதிரி இருப்பாரு. White. You can understand. Immediately they say he's Vegashyam. Vegashyamala means darkest, blackest. Darkest black. அது என்ன கலர்? Now complexionல ஒரு doubt. We don't know how to where to place him. அப்புறம் மேலா ஃபீமேலா? Another problem. Because God doesn't know which form it is, male or female, or a combination of both. Confusion is there is an inferred, omniscient, omnipotent God, and that God form is confusing. The God is not confusing. The form is that which is confused. So where comes the confusion now? The confusion is not about God. The confusion is about the form. So the so-called atheists, when they reject God, they reject the forms of God. They only reject the forms of God. They will reject. Why? God as such you cannot negate, because you see the created. Definitely the human, the human intelligence will say there is a creator. You can use the word God, you can use the word nature, you can use the word law. All are synonymous only. Then comes another confusion. One God or many gods? If there are many gods, which God is inferior? Which God is superior? Who worship whom? In some Puranas, you will see Vishnu worshipping Shiva. In some other Puranas, you will see Shiva worshipping Vishnu. Now you won't know what to do. அதுக்கு தான் சார் சூப்பர் மார்க்கெட் மாதிரி we build temples. Super market Mari, we built temples. Everything goes in, all gods goes in, isn't it? And if you build a temple in Dubai, what to do now? If you build a temple in Dubai, what will you do? Vijay Rangan. Or than Dubai. If you build a temple in Dubai, what will you do? Air conditioned temple only you have to make. Because how can you make a general temple? Because you will die in that. God will die first, isn't it? So what do? You build one air conditioned temple. And in that air conditioned temple, from left to right, all gods are seen. You don't know which God, because no, sir, why? No, why so many gods? Because we want to please. Because everybody will come, no. So we want to please everybody. We Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, don't take this track of understanding God. Don't take this track of understanding God and all that. The first point, ODA, it takes a diversion. At the very first point, it takes the diversion. What is the diversion it takes at the very first point itself? If there is the creator, if you have accepted that there is a creator, start from there. How do you start from there? What is the material out of which God created the world? Question there. Don't question the form, which God, what God, Allah, don't. In the track, forget moksha, forget liberation, forget moksha. Fanaticism and murder only will happen. If you take this route of what I said in the last 10 minutes, if you take that route to understand God, fanaticism and murder only will happen. Nothing else will happen. So Vedanta doesn't take that route. So what Vedanta says, it takes what is the route it takes? If God is the creator of the world, you have not understood it completely. Instead of asking which form, what form, how does it look and all that, ask another question, ask another set of analysis. That set of analysis will make you to understand God truly. What is that? Ask this question. What is the material out of which God created this world? Pin drop silence, isn't it? We will not know what to answer. Pin drop silence. But we know the answer already. 7th chapter he said it, 9th chapter he said it. We know the answer. What is the answer?
Is it 5 elements, sir?
What is the material out of which God created this world? 5 elements, That doesn't solve the problem, because where did the 5 elements come from? So, God created the world using himself as the material. God is the material cause. God is the material cause. God is the, before the world itself is 5 elements. You can't place the 5 elements before the world because world and 5 elements are one and the same. Where did the 5 elements come from? In the kind of analysis, God vich onnum panna mudiyadhu sir. Let us not waste our time. We will go to the first style of analysis that is more interesting. You follow? God created the world. Material came out of what is the material with which God created the world? God used, He is the material. God is the material. But material அப்படின்னா there is always a inertness to it. For example, okay, take a simple example. You see statues, no? You see statues. Oh, everything looks like human only. It has life only. Does it have any life? Why do we, statue appears like that, but it has no life, isn't it? Well, that's why, like a joke, they say, if the crow comes and sits on Gandhi's head, he can't use the stick to chase the crow away. Because Gandhi is always with the stick, isn't it? Gandhi is always with the stick. And if the crow on the Gandhi statue, if the crow comes and sits, he can't use the stick and chase the crow away. Same thing can be told about the statue of Vishnu. Same thing can be told about the statue of Shiva. Same thing can be told about statue of anything. You blasphemous, you are பேசுறீங்க சார். பக்தி யோகால எப்படி இப்படிலாம் பேசலாம்? Isn't it? Are you able to follow? No. God is the material aspect and God is the conscious aspect. He gave life into it. So everything has life because the material to creation, the material for creation came from Him. Where did consciousness come from? From Him only. Him or her. Chuma him nu solli narukurom avladha. If you are comfortable using her, use her. Doesn't matter. No, sir. If you want to use rainbow also. Doesn't. Yeah. If you have to use, how can you use only male or female? What about rainbow people? Now, what do we do? Use rainbow also. Doesn't make any difference. So there are 2 aspects. In the creation, there is the matter aspect, and in the creation, there is the consciousness aspect. All that is created has 2. Are you able to follow now? All that is created has 2. One is the matter, another thing is the enlivening factor. So the matter is Him, the enlivening factor is Him. The raw material is God. The conscious principle is God. Matter and spirit put together. இது எங்க படிச்சிருக்கிறோம்? பரப்பிரகிருதி, அபரப்பிரகிருதி. 7th chapter. Again, we did it in 9th chapter. Paraprakriti, Aparaprakriti. How do you understand this? There is a law. What is the law? The material cost can never be taken away from the product. The intelligent cost can be taken away. The instrumental cost can be taken away. The material cost can never be taken away from the product. Are you okay? All that we have studied already. The material cost need not be inferred. The material cost is perceived in the product. Ingadan twist over. This is where the twist is. If anybody is following, you will catch it. Otherwise, forget it. This is where the entire twist comes. The material cost is not inferred because the material cost is very much perceived in the product. When you look at the pot, do you infer the clay or you perceive the clay? Perceive the clay. When you look at the pot, you perceive the clay. It means what? God is an inference. We said God is an inference. Now we have changed it. What is the change now? What is the change now? Anybody?
God is what is here in this devotion.
In God from inference has become God in perception. From inference, God is not an inferred product. God is something that is perceivable. Ange, we are changing. We don't say God is inference, we say God is pratyaksha. You don't have to infer God. When you see everything, what are you seeing? You are only seeing God. Therefore, God is not an inference. Are you seeing something? Yes. Are you hearing something? Yes. Are you feeling something? Yes. Are you thinking something? Yes. That is God. Are you able to follow now? Therefore, God is not a perceived thing. God is not an inferred thing. God is perceived. God is not only the creator, God is the very material cause of the creation. Not only the creator is the material cause for the creation. Material cause for the creation, Vedanta, we give so much of importance to it and we don't even hear it at all. In Vedanta classes, we don't hear the statement. God is the material cause. God, either we say there is a world or we go to the other extreme and say it's Maya. Both we don't know what we are talking. Vedanta very beautifully goes step by step. So it says God is the material cause. Material cause means in whatsoever you see, the material causes in it. You need not infer. Are you okay till now? Intelligence cause may be inference, but material causes pratyaksha. Therefore, God created the world out of himself, means all that you see is what? God only. God only. Therefore, God is no more a subject matter of Anumana. God is a subject matter of Pratyaksha. Angadam Bhakti starts. When God becomes a subject matter of Pratyaksha, then Bhakti starts. Pratyaksha, in which form is Pratyaksha? In which form it is Pratyaksha? That's chapter 10. Are you able to follow? Beautiful. It's such an extraordinary connection. Are you able to make the connections? Are you able to make the connections? Yes. In which form?
All forms.
In all forms. How do you say all forms? This is me, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is me. Whatsoever you see, you are only seeing me. Whatsoever you are perceiving, you are only perceiving me. Whatsoever you are feeling, you are only feeling me. Whatsoever you are thinking me only. What is the form of God? You cannot ask, what is the form of gold? What is the form of God? Is like asking, what is the form of gold? What is the form of gold?
Any ornament form.
All ornaments you list out. Each and every ornament you list out. First you will say it is necklace. And then say gold. And then say gold. And then you will show the ring. And you will say ring. And then you will say gold. And then you show bangles. And then you say gold. And then you say earring. And then you will say gold. Gold is the necklace. Gold is the nose ring. Gold is the earring. Gold is in everything. Either vibhuti. Yovlo list I can give you, he's asking. Are you able to follow? What list I can give you, Arjuna? For all this is me. All this is me means the external world of manifestations and the internal world of thoughts, etc. That is why this entire Vibhuti Yoga is segregated into the microcosm, the macrocosm, and then the other locus. All that we saw last week. So when it is created, it's not only created as in gross objects. Everything is me. The external world of objects and beings is me. The internal worlds of feelings and thoughts is also me. It means what? There is nothing that exists apart from me. Beautiful. Not either only which form it is, male, female, white, black. In the discussion, don't. If you get carried away in this discussion about God, you will end up in, but we like only that discussion. Yeah. ஏன்னா அங்கதானே சண்டை போட முடியும், வாட்ஸ்அப் ஃபார்வர்டு பண்ண முடியும், பாலிடிக்ஸ் பண்ண முடியும் இல்லையா? பாலிடிக்ஸ் எங்க பண்ண முடியும்? இந்த கார்டில் தான் பாலிடிக்ஸ் பண்ண முடியும், இந்த கார்டில் தான் வாட்ஸ்அப் ஃபார்வர்ட் பண்ண முடியும், சண்டை போட முடியும். Material cause, instrumental cause, no, you will not know what to do with that God. Isn't it? Therefore, what happens? Krishna, he says, we know that also, and you should move from that to this understanding. Should move from that understanding to this understanding. Are you able to follow? Vibhuti Yoga. This is called Vibhuti Yoga. Wherever there is Sri, wherever there is prosperity, anything you see prosperous, anything that you see is me, is me, is me. So first thing that is established is what? The entire prapancha, the entire creation, the entire jagat, the manifest, unmanifest, everything is God. Everything is me, everything is God, is established. Then God will be restricted to this, for which they will come and say, no, don't restrict God to this. God is beyond all comprehension. At one level, you can comprehend it like that to have a bhakti. Unless you comprehend it like this, you can never have bhakti. Unless you comprehend it like this, you can never ever have identification. You can never ever get rid of hatred. You can never ever get rid of dvesha. On the one side, full of dvesha, on the other side, I'm working for self-realization, sir. What a mockery self-realization is, isn't it? On the one side, full of dvesha with people. On the other side, I'm working for self-realization. What a mockery this self-realization is. Who are we cheating? First is to see the Jagat as God. Seeing the entire creation as God. If you have to see the entire creation as God, what you have to understand, the world is created by God and the material is God. But sir, so many bad things are also happening in the world, no? God. Same mind projects God. Actually speaking, so many bad things don't happen in the world. Only human mind is bad. Do you ever understand that? So many wrong things are happening in the world, and you see who's doing the wrong thing? Who's doing the wrong thing? Human. Therefore, lot of wrong things are happening in the world means where all the wrong things is happening? Where all the wrong things are happening in the world? In the human mind. In whose mind? Some third party's mind? In whose mind? Some mind in Argentina, some mind in Japan, some mind in Brazil, some mind in, I was about to say Hong Kong, not Why disappoint them? Yeah. I was about to say Hong Kong. Why Hong Kong? Hong Kong also only, Shailesh. So where is this? So where is the wrong happening? In human mind. Are you okay till now? If you say the wrong is happening only in human mind, in whose mind? You should say?
Mind.
My mind. Because of ignorance. In my mind, it is happening because of ignorance. Knowledge sets right everything. But sir, world la corruption irukume. You can never get out of your political interests. Politician is wanting to correct the other is the politician. Purida. And all human beings are politicians only. Always we want to correct. யாரையும் ஒருத்தரை கரெக்ட் பண்ணினே இருக்கணும், isn't it? Somebody we have to keep correcting. Children, first victim. Children தான். Children. And they are so dependent on you, they can't do anything. Not that they are changing or anything. They are just waiting to run away. The moment they run away, they will say, get lost, and they run away. Why? All the time, we are in a mode of having to keep correcting something. Here he says, it is not about if wherever you see anything wrong, it's in you because of ignorance. What is knowledge now? What is knowledge? You see the world? Yes, you can't deny that. You can't say, I am seeing God. You can't say that. But you can say, I am seeing the world. What is this world that you are seeing? Nama Rupa. What is this world that you are seeing? Nama Rupa, names and forms. Names and forms is of what material? What material has metamorphosed into this name and form? God. God material. How to explain this? How to elaborate this? Arjuna said in the beginning of 10th chapter, in the material cause, instrumental cause, intelligent cause. I don't want all this analytical discourses and all. I'm feeling very, very sleepy only, and I'm not able to understand any utility of all these things. So tell me your glories. Arjuna, what a stupid, silly question that you are asking about my glories to me. Yeah. You come and ask about my glories to me. It is infinite. What list I can give? Just to give you some sample. Yeah, or list, isn't it? Some list he gave. Some vague, some list he gave. And then giving that list, he said, Sada list approximation. Why? Because wherever there is Sri, wherever there is prosperity, wherever there is, understand it as me. Understand it as me. Itoda Vibhuti Yoga is over. Chapter 10 is over with this verse. But then he gives a twist in the verse now that we are going to study. Adan twist. Last verse padinga.
अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन पृष्ठभ्याहमिदं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत् अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन पृष्ठभ्याहमिदं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्.
But, what is the knowledge of these details to you, O Arjuna? Having pervaded this entire universe by one fragment, I remain. But what is the knowledge of these details to you, O Arjuna? Having pervaded this entire universe by one fragment, I remain. Now what is he saying? What do you do with all these details? What do you do with all these details? Because you are still getting carried away by, you are restricting me to one Nama Rupa. You are still trying to restrict me to one Nama Rupa, and all the Nama Rupas you cannot conceive. Because all the Nama Rupas put together is infinite. So what you need to do? Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself into recognizing the infinitude. It is infinite. What is the details to you, Arjuna? I gave you a long list. Whole chapter I spoke. Whole list I gave you. Did this list help you in any way? Arjuna wasn't listening. That's why he's saying this. If Arjuna was listening, he would have said, yes, it helped me. It helped me. Did it help you? Arjuna wasn't listening. And somewhere he would have lost. Would have got Pandavanam, Dhananjaya, he would have lost somewhere. Yeah, Pandavanam, Dhananjaya, he said, I am Arjuna amongst the Pandavas. No, Arjuna would have. Yeah. Of what you Atava. By one fragment means what is the ocean and drop of the ocean. Even that is a very poor comparison. What is the ocean and one drop? All these entire jagat that you are talking about, Arjuna, that I spoke about as me, is just one drop. And this one drop is becoming so. Okay, imagine this. This entire creation itself is one drop. In that, where are you? In the one drop, where do you exist? Where do I exist? But in our eyes, in the eyes of our ego, we alone exist. Or others exist like planets around me. I am the center. It's not that others are not existing. Others exist. But who's the center? The center, the vital, the important. Me. The ego says that. Krishna is saying, what is the use of these details to you? What is the use of these details to you doesn't mean he's ridiculing the details. He's only saying from these vibhutis, use the vibhutis to expand. Use the vibhutis to expand. What is the expansion? How it is infinite. How it is infinite. And the human mind will be so concerned about what? You are asking me to show mud in every part of the universe. இருக்கிற எல்லா பாட்டும் எடுத்துன்னு வந்து this is mud, this is mud, this is mud னு teach me. You are asking Arjuna, how can I do that? You should sit and do it by yourself. Are you able to follow what he's saying? He's saying, you are asking me to show, you are asking me to bring all the parts from the universe and say, this part is mud, this part is mud, this part is mud. எவ்வளோ லிஸ்ட் தான் கொடுக்குறது? Because more he tries to list out, in his head the list is becoming endless. More he is trying to list is endless. Therefore, as a student, you should make an effort and recognize it. I have given you samples. Using this, put in the effort. If you are not putting in that effort, these details will be of no use. When he says of what use these details to you, Arjuna, he is not ridiculing that list. He is not saying this list is not useless. If you are not making use of that list to expand, then this list is of no use to you. What is expansion means? You should independently through manana nididhyasana recognize mud in all the existing parts, seen and unseen. A few parts you see, millions and millions of parts you cannot see, but then you understand what? In all that is seen and unseen, there is only, in all that is seen and unseen parts, seen parts, unseen parts, it's only clay. Similarly, the seen aspect of the world, the unseen aspect of the world, the seen and unseen, everything of Jagat is me. But then you will restrict me to this Jagat. But then what will you do? You will restrict me to this Jagat. Therefore, he is saying, this Jagat is one drop of me. This Jagat is one drop of me. Jagatna multiverse nu vechukonga. Jagatna, what does Jagat means? Not universe. Jagatna
Observable
multiverse. Multiverse as in external, multiverse as in internal. All fields of experiences, physical, psychological, intellectual. All fields of experiences, Jagat means some experiences are physical, some are psychological, some are intellectual. The size of the sun is intellectual. It's an intellectual experience. The size of the sun is not physical experience. At least this we understand, no? Through telescope, you saw the sun and measured the sun. People think like that, isn't it? It's not. It is sheer. It's a sheer mathematical, intellectual experience. Therefore, there are certain intellectual experiences, there are certain emotional experiences, and there are certain physical experiences. Jagat means includes all the field of experiences. This Jagat is what in the 13th chapter is going to call as Kshetra. Kshetragyam Chabimam Vidhi is going to say in the 13th chapter. The same Jagat becomes Kshetra in 13th chapter. Meaning all the fields of experiences. Physical, emotional, intellectual. And what is the nature of this Jagat? Ever-changing, conditioned by time and space, comprehended by sense organs, mind and intellect. This is Jagat. What is Jagat? That which is ever-changing is Jagat. Conditioned by time, and place. Comprehended by sense organs, mind, and இதுதான் ஜகத். And this jagat is one drop. This jagat is one drop. What you are seeing, it's only my amsha, one part of me. It's only one part of me, Arjuna. The mistake that you make is what? In the part one particular nama rupa you take and you get stuck to that. So how does it grow? That's how, if you remember, we saw that. First it will be with Eka Rupa, and then it will go to Aneka Rupa, and then it will go to Vishwarupa, and then it will go to Arupa. All this is Eka Rupa, Aneka Rupa, Vishwarupa, Arupa. All this is one part of me. All this is one drop of me. For I exist beyond all this. This is the classic Upanishadic language. This is the classic Upanishadic language he concludes. Because any discussion about God must conclude with the Upanishadic understanding. He takes it to that height. And please understand, you can't directly go there. Understand this, at least conceive of this step by step. If all that you see is God, if all the fields of experiences, physical, emotional, intellectual, is God, what can you claim as mine? What can you have hatred towards? Mindness will go, hatred will go. Purida? Mindness will go, hatred will go. If that mindness and hatred is not going because of all these details is of no use to you, Arjuna. Krishna is visualizing, Arjuna is not making an effort to understand all this. Therefore, he is saying, of what use is his details to you? Of what use is his details to you doesn't mean he's insulting it. He's ridiculing his own list. He's not ridiculing, insulting his own list. He's only saying what? This Eka Rupa to Arupa, etc. is only one infinitesimal part of me. For I exist beyond all this. Forget about existing beyond all this. At least see the Jagat as me first. If you see the Jagat as me first, two things will go out. What are the two things? You will never claim anything as mine. You will never have dvesha. Krishna is not, all great masters are not worried about your mindness first. They are worried about your dvesha first. Therefore, the first quality of the person who has understood this, which we are going to study in 12th chapter, we will connect it. Don't worry. Even if you forget, I will connect. Yeah. 7th chapter, 9th chapter, in connect when we do 12th chapter, Adveshta Sarva Bhutana, I will connect it to this. So what will go? Dvesha will go. That's why the first quality of the devotee. How do I know that I am worshipping you? Arjuna's question. How do I know that I am worshipping you, Krishna? Do you have dvesha? Then you are not worshipping me. Then you are not worshipping me. No, but I am very good and kind and being very charitable and all to others. No. On the list alone, don't give me. Do you have dvesha? Vijugupsa no. Isavasya Upanishad. Isavasya Upanishad takes it to Tatona Vijugupsate. What is that Vijugupsa? Vijugupsa is there. Can't these people, that this one or two human beings I cannot tolerate, sir. Michongalla, okay, sir. That this one to only I cannot stand. Yeah, please, sir. Okay. If you are in my position, you can also not stand. Vijugupsa, he said. Isavasya calls it as Vijugupsa. Tato na Vijugupsate, he said. Because how it will go? You can't simply say, don't hate, don't hate, don't hate, understand, accept, accept. How can you accept? How can you understand? Only when you see it as the divine. There is the law. There is a law that is holding. There is the law that is taking care of everything. Assuming that there is something wrong, law is going to take care. Why do I have to have hatred? First of all, is that person wrong? That itself is debatable. Assuming that person is wrong, who am I to judge that? For there is a law. That's conviction in bhakti. That's where hatred goes out. That's where hatred goes out. And if at all, what I will do? I'll pray, let that person also have right buddhi. Assuming that God has decided it as wrong, not you decided it as wrong. In Nigala, we are not concerned about whether God is deciding as right or wrong. You have decided that it is wrong already. Namadana decision maker, isn't it? For we are all knowing, isn't it? Since we are all knowing, we decide everything. What is right? What is right? What is wrong? We decide everything. Having decided everything, what is right, what is wrong, we get into these complications. Of what use is these details to you, Arjuna? These details, studying this detail should have taken the hatred away from you. Has your hatred gone? Then these details is of some use. If hatred is still there, I can go on and on and on giving details. Nothing you will change. Nothing you will change. Therefore, atava bahunaitena kim yatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaha midam kritsnam ekamshena stito jagat. Ekamshena stito jagat. I remain jagat, this universe, this universe. There was a time where the knowledge was only one universe. Another universe no potrom. In multiverse, multiverse no potukla. Because according to the Shastras, Jagat is always multiverse. 14 lokas. It's not one. It's already. It is always multi. It can't be one, because being a pluralistic phenomena, it can never be one. It has to be multi. What is the knowledge of these details to you, Arjuna? Having pervaded this entire universe by one fragment. By one fragment, I remain. I remain means this anxiety to know the terrestrial expressions. Don't forget the inner message. What is the inner message? See the divine everywhere. When you say see the divine everywhere, you are not seeing the divine everywhere. It is divine that is appearing like this. So seeing the divine means understanding, recognizing, understanding it is the divine that is appearing like this. Seeing the divine, na superimposition. Seeing the divine doesn't mean you are superimposing something. No. The Nama Rupa is superimposed. Today we see the Nama Rupa and we want to superimpose the divine on it. Putting the cart before the horse. Ulta we do. What is Krishna saying? Nama Rupa is the superimposition and see the material. Why? Because we have seen the law already. What is the law? The material cause is never away from the product. Idalanda Vedic Mimamsa. These are all the Vedic analysis. It doesn't go by any other. These are all the analysis. Material cause is never away from the product. The material cause need not be inferred. Material cause is very much perceived in the product. Are you able to follow this? This is the whole crux. Therefore, God is not a subject matter of inference. The presence of Nama Rupa is the presence of God. Therefore, whatsoever you see as, whatsoever you see, whatsoever you perceive, whatsoever you do, it's all me, and me only. These details, Arjuna, should help you to get rid of two things. If all is divine, you have your hatred has no legitimacy, your ownership has no legitimacy. That is the conclusion. Are you able to follow now? Your ownership has no legitimacy, your hatred has no legitimacy, because it's all divine. It's all divine. It's all divine. Therefore, he concludes. Chapter 10, beautiful chapter, conclusion. What is the knowledge of these details to you, Arjuna? Having pervaded this entire universe by one fragment, I remain. With this, we conclude chapter 10. Next week, we will move on to chapter 11. We'll continue with chapter 11 onwards in the next session. Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. This is Vibhuti Yoga. The next chapter is Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. We'll start with chapter 11 in the next week. Chapter 10 is over.